Okay, once we have our template finished, we now have to make sure that this is going to fit nicely on one page. So to do that, go to page layout, all right? Make sure that it says 1 by 1 page for the width and height, and then go to page setup. This you can pick if you want it portrait or landscape, all right? I usually just stay with landscape, but if you are doing something else besides cards, you might want to change it to portrait. Go to margins. Make sure that these are all set at 0. All right, this allows us to maximize as much page space as possible. And then finally, make sure it's centered horizontally and vertically as well. Sometimes you can put kind of like a watermark. You could do that in the header or footer. You can select the picture that way. I'm going to go ahead and put none, but again, add your kind of flair that you want on it. Hit OK. And then we want to make sure that our print area is what's going to print. So select everything that you want printed on the print area and then set print area. All right. Now to make sure, instead of having to go to File, Print every time to see if this is going to fit on one page, what you can do is go to View and then Page Layout, and this will show you exactly what it's going to look like on a piece of paper that you print out. So you can see if we were to delete all of this, we would now have that gap right there, right? If you do ever come across this, all you have to do really is just resize your cells so that it fits onto one page. All right, now once you have your template done, everything is going to fit nicely on a page. We're going to go ahead and do a VLookup, all right, and create a drop-down menu for our athletes' names. So the first thing that we want to do is make a roster. Go ahead and make another sheet, double click it, name it roster, and then name, and then we're just going to put some random squat, bench, and clean numbers. Now you can either type it in like I just did, or you can insert a table. All right, you can click and drag to make however big of a table that you want. Either way, it'll get the job done. All right, name, squat, bench, clean. Now you can just put some random names in here. And then some random squat, bench, and clean numbers as well. Oh, sorry, Adam. All right, once that is done, we are now going to create a drop-down menu right here where it says athlete. Okay, to do that, what you're going to do first is go to data. First click on the cell where you want the drop-down menu to be. All right, then click on data, data validation. Under allow, you're going to click on that drop-down menu and you're going to hit list. Okay. Now, where it says source, this is Excel asking you where you want it to pull that information from. All right, and just to minimize this black box, you're just going to click right here, go to roster, and highlight only the names. Okay, then hit enter, and enter again. Now, once you're back on that same cell, this little box is going to appear, and then you have your names. All right. So next we're going to do a VLookup. Okay, what a VLookup does is it tells Excel to pull the maxes that we just put in this roster and place them right here depending on what names we choose. Okay, now to do that, first we want to do is name our athlete cell. So click on that cell where the names are, okay? Upper left hand corner where it says AA4, we're going to click and we're just going to name it athlete 1. Okay, Excel doesn't like any spaces when you name cells, so don't put any spaces in there. Also, if you were to do another card, like the next phase, and you named the next phase athlete cell athlete 1, Excel isn't going to let you do that. So you have to name it like athlete 2 or whatever you want. All right, so now we're going to do our VLookup, okay? Click on the cell where you want the maxes to come in. We're going to hit equal. That's just me telling Excel that we're about to do a function or a formula or any kind of math. And then we're going to type VLookup in parentheses. All right, once you do that, Excel will kind of try to assist you in the data that you need to put in. Once you kind of learn Excel language, it's pretty easy. But lookup value is where your athletes' names are going to be. All right, so you'll always just click that athlete 1, athlete 2, whatever you name that cell. Comma. Table array is the table that we made for our maxes. That's your roster. You're going to highlight from the first name all the way to clean, all the way down. Comma, column index number is Excel asking you what column number that number is going to come from. So we're looking for squat, so that column number will be 2, 1, 2. Comma, and then I always put false and close that parentheses. Then hit enter. All right, and now that number has come up. And whenever I click on different name, that number will change with the name. So instead of having to repeat that whole formula again for bench and clean, what you can do is copy and paste it. All right, but if you were learning how to do VLookup equations, then I would recommend you just typing it by hand each time. That's the only way you're going to get better at it, is repetition. So you can try that. VLookup, athlete name or athlete 1, roster, the whole roster. We are now looking for bench. So that's going to be column 1, 2, 3. False. Same thing for clean. False. Now we have our maxes in there. Once you get comfortable with VLookup and you want to just copy and paste, all you have to do is go to a cell that already has it, click on the formula bar, all right? Don't try to copy and paste it from the cell. Click on the formula bar, copy it, hit escape, go to the cell you want to paste, paste. Now make sure that column number is correct. So if I left it at 3, then my bench number would be in for my clean number. And you don't want that to happen. That's chaotic if 5 minutes before a lift, you realize your athletes have the wrong numbers. So make sure that column number is right and hit enter. Okay. If I were to copy and paste, copy, and I didn't exit out, then Excel would do something like this. Okay. If that ever happens, just hit escape on your keyboard and that's it. Right? Now you know how to do a VLookup.